Traveling is bending the space-time fabric. Basically, this is how the beings are doing it. Let me explain something first. You watch shows like Star Trek and other shows movies where they travel at light speed or warp drive, what have you. And the bottom line is, there's no way a craft could travel at light speed. Not if that's, especially with that mass, it would be ripped to shreds. And basically every occupant inside would be flattened like a pancake. They wouldn't even make it to their destination. The G-force alone would just tear it to pieces. So the idea, first of all, doing space-time travel is to reduce the mass, the critical mass that's causing the G-force against the craft. And basically that's why orbs shrink down. That's why I've seen them the size of moons. I've seen them the size of large trees. I've also seen them the size of little pinheads. And I can go even further down to the size of particles. So basically, that's how they reduce their mass. They're capable of changing their dynamics, and they shrink it down so it can travel and traverse easier without G-force against it. Now, the other secret that they do, let me explain something. When you're traveling, I've got a diagram here I want to show you. When you're traveling a distance from point A to point B, if you look at this graph here, point A to point B or B to A, the straight line is usually what people think of when they travel. But in reality, it's not the fastest way to get to the place you want to go. See, if you bend the space-time fabric and you're able to pull 2 points together, point A and point B together, then a craft the size of an orb can pass right through, going from one side to the other, eliminating the distance. So it's a matter of bringing 2 points together, then punching through a vortex or a hole into the space-time fabric. This is done by gravity waves A and B, and basically it's a matter of harnessing the space-time fabric and bringing them together so the craft can pass through. So this is why a lot of times, and when I speak of what I wrote in my books and everything else, these orbs being big and then simply vanishing, they don't fly away, it's because what they're doing is they're shrinking down to the size of particles and become invisible basically to the human eye. And this is how they're traversing. They're not traversing through the light speed. Light speed is impractical and would never work. Not with beings inside of it. It would, like I said, I'll reiterate, it will rip them to pieces. So the secret is to bend the space-time fabric like we did here and pass from one side to the other side and then unbending it. And that's not traversing the length, it's bringing it together. So that's how it's done, and that is the principles behind it. And so when you see a craft, and a lot of people are saying when they're looking at these crafts in the sky, I've had people say to me, I saw this, I saw that, it just disappeared, it just vanished. That's because it's disappearing because it's shrinking down. It's got the capability of shrinking its mass down to the size of a particle, then literally slipping through a vortex. And the vortex doesn't have to be that big for it to slip to. So until humans can get to that level, they're not going to be doing any interdimensional travel. Space-time travel is the only way. Lightspeed, once again, will rip it to shreds. There's not a craft that would withstand this. People like to argue the point, but in theory, they're wrong. The principles aren't there. G-force alone and some of our rockets are just so bad that they affect astronauts terribly. Imagine going at light speeds, what it would do to them. But anyway, I wanted to explain that so maybe people would understand how they're actually getting from, well, way out in the universe to here. I mean, they can traverse a whole universe by simply bending space-time travel. So, thank you.